Even Espinoza, ahead of a very big event this Saturday, how are you feeling?
I'm excited. I think we had a really entertaining press conference. We got some intriguing fights from, as Anderson said, a lot of craziness. Like every fighter's a little bit crazy. And you look at a guy like Le'Veon Bell, coming in and doing a fight, or even, Dr. Mike, for example, who's got a huge social audience and very respected medical expert, coming in and taking a fight against a legit combat sports veteran. So even before we get to the main event, I think there's a lot of interest and intrigue on the card.
And talking about that Dr. Mike fight, it does feel like he's getting a little bit undervalued, underappreciated, overlooked. Do you think he's got a pretty good chance against Chris Avila?
I've seen him on tape, and look, anybody can look good in sparring. Anybody can look good in flashes. You just never know until you get out there. And I know he's fought before, and he fought, well. But it's a different thing against a sort of a veteran fighter who's done both MMA and boxing. So, look, if I was as good looking as Dr. Mike was, and I had his education, his career, I wouldn't be fighting. But more power to him, and especially kudos to him for donating his entire purse to the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem.
100%. And with those abs, I'd probably be in Calvin Klein instead of Showtime.
Right.
But now talk to me about adding Canadian legend and mixed martial arts superstar George St Pierre to the broadcast team. What's the significance of that addition?
Well, as I sort of said during the press conference, I've been fortunate enough to be around some legends and some legendary events. But you get around guys like Anderson Silva and George St Pierre, and it's sort of a goosebump feeling. Like, it's hard not to be starstruck, even if you're a combat sports veteran, by two guys who are literally the Mount Rushmore. Either has the case for being one
that
of
greatest of all time, yeah.
So, to have an event where we have an opportunity to work with both of them, one in the main event, one in the telecast, is, it really is an honor. It's sort of like, hey, I literally find myself thanking them over and over for sort of bringing that, their value to this event.
Lastly, for me, a couple of years ago, people looked at Jake Paul entering the boxing ring and were quite critical, and they had a lot of things to say. What do you offer to those people now after all the success he's had?
Yeah, I might have been one of those people, and not in terms of being critical, but in terms of being skeptical, because I thought, this could be just a cash grab or a attempt at getting attention.
Right.
But the reality is, what we've seen, and it's undeniable at this point, he's committed to the sport. He's respectful of the sport. He wants to uplift the sport and individual boxers and better it. And he has legitimate skills. Like, you can't look at him from fight 1 and 2 to fight 5
and deny that there's improvement.
He's a good athlete. He is becoming more and more credible with every fight, and he's got a massive audience. So for us, there's no question that people were interested in him, and there was a demand for him. Then it became, is he credible? Is he committed to the sport? Is he respectful? And having sat down with him, we heard him and believed that it's true. And now we fast forward. If you're a boxing fan, you can't really be mad at Jake Paul.
Right.
You can say, look, his fights are not for me. That's fine. But you can't be mad. He is expanding the audience. He is bringing attention, and he is bringing new fans to the sport, and that's demonstrably true. So I get it. If there are purists out there, and I'm as purist as any of them, I can see it. But at the same time, you can't argue with the spectacle. There's a level of energy and a level of fun, which I think is very good for the sport.
I love it. Thank you so much for the time, Steven.
Okay, good to talk to you.
Great meeting you.